we set up to feed this hive here. This is the hive that we captured, and unfortunately we have got some robbing going on. So we did a little boardman entrance feeder, and that was a really bad idea, and I'm starting to regret that. The bees that are from this hive naturally are the ones that are black, or they seem to have a black butt. I don't really see any that are going on this board right now that I can show as an example. But the middle of them is kind of yellowy stripes, and then the back of them is like a black butt. It's actually really interesting. Oh, there's one over here. He's headed up. She's going back over. She went just to the far side. Hopefully you can see that. But we got some robbing behavior going on. I'm not really seeing tons of fighting and stuff going on just right now. At least not that's super obvious to a new beekeeper like myself. But looks like we got some eyeing each other right now. That could be some fighting going on straight in the middle right there. But they don't seem to do as in stingers as much as they are their faces or their mouths, which is kind of interesting. But I think what we're going to have to do is end up covering this in a sheet or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Still doing some research, and we'll figure out what I want to do. But I switched. This is the wider entrance, so I switched to the smaller entrance reducer to help these bees out. And that's made quite a difference already, getting very few bees in and out. They do have this tiny little crack over here. Oh, okay, you can see a couple of them here that have that black butt. It's really interesting. They have this different look to them. The queen is all black. We got a little video of her. And this is the brood that she lays. Here's a great example of one. They just have this black butt and that kind of yellow middle section. It's really, really cool, really pretty. I really like it. You can see some of these bees inside of here. I'm not sure what shows up on camera, but you can see the little hands going back and forth. So we're gonna have to do something about this. I might be able to just put like a sheet in the way, and the other bees will figure out where to go, but it'll just confuse the robbers. Here we go. We got some serious fighting going right there. That's totally some fighting. So we're gonna have to do something about this. Big mistake using a boardman feeder on such a weak hive. Kind of obvious in hindsight, but learn something new every day. So I mentioned we were using the boardman feeder, and it's pretty cool. You can actually see the bees' tongues inside here. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. Get the camera to focus. But you can see in the middle there, sorry for the shakiness, there's a bee tongue. Little proboscis going into there, sucking up that syrup, which is just so cool to see that. Okay, so here's what I've done. Just covered up the entrance here with a blanket. And that's it. It's very loosely on there on purpose. There's plenty of entrances underneath and on the sides. You can just see there, I'm not sure how well it's showing up on camera, but there's about 50 or so bees just flying in front of the entrance right here. They're looking all over the place. I'm trying to pay attention to if they look like they're from this hive or not, if they're black or have the black butts, and it looks like, it's hard to see because they're so fast, but it looks like a lot of them are not from this hive. So we're just gonna leave this on here for a couple hours. They've got a little bit of honey storage in there. This is the hive we captured, so they really don't have a whole lot of honey storage on there, but they should have plenty enough for right now. And they can get out just fine. They'll just have to work their way around and then fly out of it. It's not a huge deal. I've never had to do this before, and this was a huge mistake to encourage this robbing like this. It's going to be interesting to see how the bees deal with their entrance being gone and how the robbers deal with it. Hopefully the robbers just give up. There was some robbing and stuff going on yesterday, and yeah, this is a lot more activity in this hive as seen since probably day 2. All right, this is another one of our hives. Unfortunately, this is the same Italians or whatever as the other hives, so I can't tell specifically if these bees are from the correct colony, but you can see over here there's a ton of activity going around the boardman feeder here. And I'm beginning to really not like this method. I've got some another method that I'd like to do instead, which I'll be working on. I'll do another video about that if it works out. But I've got this entrance reducer here, which is just a stick, piece of board that I cut up. And this guy directly in there, there's no room around it. That's why they're all flying around like that, trying to get in, but they can't because this is the only entrance besides top entrance up here. Got two very small entrances. I could reduce this even more if I needed to. But yeah, not a fan of this. Kind of regretting all this. Got another one over here. I sealed it up completely so you can only get to it from the inside of the hive. This one's nearly empty. They've been going crazy at it. You can see the black bees and the black butt bees running around over here. Alright, I pulled the blanket off and you can see that there's a couple of bees beating their wings and probably throwing some pheromones out. So these don't really look like they're from this hive. I'm not certain though. I'm still pretty new at this, but hopefully you guys can see the variety of the bees that are in this one hive. There's ones with the distinctly black tail end and stripes, and then mostly black. Anyways, so this could be rival bees telling where to rob, or this could be other bees saying, oh, here's the entrance, because I moved the blanket and so they probably couldn't find the entrance. Yeah, we got about 3 of them doing it right now. And one of them's all black, so I think that's going all right. I'll probably put the blanket back on and let these bees calm down a bit with that blanket as their protection for a while. Really not a fan of these entrance feeders. Gonna have to come up with a different method. Alright, my wife and I noticed that with these Boardman or Broadman feeders, whatever they're called, that one of our hives was acting kind of funky. And then we noticed that it was getting raided by hornets, and we opened it up and it's empty. We've got on the ground here, this is the top box from it, we've got a couple of bees, maybe 100 just sitting right there. The rest of them are dead. All the frames have no bees on it. Let me get a little flashlight for you guys so you can kind of see down in here. Not the best angle, sorry about that, but you can see there's just nothing going on right there. There's a dead bee on one of the frames, but this hive is dead. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the frames filled with honey and give it to our other hives. We got a nice warm day today, so we can do this even though, actually today's Halloween, October 31st. That's what we're gonna be doing today.
Stupid wasps.
Yeah, stupid wasps.
Kill them.
The moral of the story is, do not use entrance feeders. They encourage robbing, and it could have been our other hives that killed this off. Could have been hornets, but it could have been somebody else's bees. But some bees robbed this guy, this whole hive, killed all the bees, and this hive's been struggling forever, anyways. But it's never been as performing as the other hives. This is the same box and the same place that our other hives were in, and our hive from last year was in, and all those bees died. So it could be something to do with this location, so next year we'll try moving this box to a different spot. At the bottom of the top box there are these cells pointing downwards. These could be supersedure cells. They don't quite look like it to me because they're not very long, but they do have the diameter right. So this very well could it be that this hive lost their queen and we didn't notice. We did check on them every 2 weeks and look for brood and eggs, and we found them. So
not for the last month though.
Yeah, the last month we didn't check. So with this one, what we're gonna do is let's take out the empty frames. If there are bees in here, we'll just give them to the other hive. They should be just fine.
Won't they and the other hive attack each other?
I don't think so, because they probably know their hive's dead and they're gonna be excited that there's new bees. So this is empty. This is half honey. This hive was productive this year. Full of honey here. Both sides. So this was not a bad hive.
Look at this one, it's got the honey rainbow. I'm guessing brood. Oh, it's bee bread.
Oh.
Show the.
Yeah. There's a lot of bee bread in here, which is pollen that they mix up. This is half honey, half bee bread. They're gonna need that. This looks like a brood thing to me. This is all gonna hatch. Hold on, let's see. Let's get the flashlight on here and see if there's eggs. If there's eggs, the queen could still be alive. Let's look for the queen. If she's here, that changes everything. I agree.
That's her, right there, look at that.
The queen is still alive.
They're all protecting her.
Okay. So my wife has been looking at this bee that she found and she has a varroa mite on her. Rotate it a little bit more that way, yeah. It's hard to see on camera, but between her legs on her side is a varroa mite. So this hive could have died from varroa mites. That could be what took them out. It could be that, varroa mites, and the entrance feeders that really took them out. So we'll have to figure it out. We'll have to figure out what we're gonna do. Okay, so what the plan is, we talked to a neighbor. He thinks that these bees can make it even with like the 100 bees that are here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna combine all of the honey frames from here, put them into this box. The best frames, put them in here for these guys for winter. And that way they've only got one box to heat up or worry about. So let's pull this apart. This one has a small amount of honey, so I'm gonna set that aside for now. And we're gonna keep going through these frames. We're gonna leave the frames with brood, obviously. They need that brood. Hopefully they can keep it warm. All right, this one's half honey, so that's gonna stay. This next one is half honey as well. So most of these frames are just fine. Some brood. So these are from our original hive from last year. So these are ancient frames that we got from this other guy as well. So
That queen cell.
yeah, but they've got a queen.
Maybe one of the queen cells hatched.
That could be it.
Maybe they swarmed and half of the bees left.
Oh man, maybe they swarmed. That would be terrible.
That would explain a lot, and that means the wild swarm won't make it either.
Oh yeah.
Too late in the year for that.
Yeah, what dorks. Let's put it back together.
Okay, put it on, and then we have to immediately blanket it.
Yep. Oh, they're freaking wasp.
Okay, you want to put in the entrance reducer?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that enough for them to have a little bit of space? They might.
There's the
that
big
might not,
one though. Hold on.
That might not be enough ventilation.
Okay. There is the hive with the blanket on it to prevent robbing for now. If they're from the hive, they seem to figure a way around the sides and get in. Well, my wife and I came outside and this is what we had underneath the blanket. So even through the blanket, they robbed it. So we pulled it open. There was just tons of bees with their heads inside of cells, pulling what they could. Right now, we emptied it out and took all the frames inside because they're still mostly intact. So we got to this quick. I didn't even see any of the original bees. They're probably in here somewhere. I've got some fighting going on. Some fighting right there. Quite a bit of fighting, but I don't see the queen anywhere. I don't see the body. Who knows? All right, well, I brushed off everything that the hive was, took it all inside. The bees were still just fighting over the boxes and stuff, and I really didn't want to encourage any more robbing or any more death. So I brushed them off, took it all inside. Hive is disassembled and gone. Well, these bees are gonna fly around until they realize that there's nothing here. Then they're gonna give up, stop fighting, stop trying to rob. Moral of the story is, don't use entrance feeders.